What's up, gamers? Have you ever gotten into a fight and suddenly your suspiciously robed opponent just conjures a Hail Mary blazing fire in your direction? Some might say that's impossible to dodge, to which I say someone skipped gymnastics, or you studied Steins Gate and quantum traveled, or you don't have a soul, in which case I'll gladly give you mine so I don't feel the need to game in myself for playing robots. In today's review, I will be covering Your Only Move is Hustle. Deceptive name aside, Yomi Hustle is what happens when players plug their brains into the 9th dimension to have femtosecond gameplay. I cannot for the life of me figure out what's happening here, and maybe that's for the better. Considering I'm a certified wizard main, I don't think anyone would benefit from this. But blunk, you ejaculated out. This gameplay looks like you've set your Ethernet cord to the 10th dimension. Well, you see, like every other YouTuber before, my conception and after death has cleverly deceived you. This is a final replay. The real game starts now. Oh fuck. As you can see, Yomi Hustle is not a schizophrenic deep dive into your subconscious impulse, but more akin to a turn-based game without the turn-based. Each fighter gets to perform an action, select and lock in. The game will show you a Marvel alternate universe of what could potentially happen, not what will happen. As such, predicting what your opponent will do is essential. Before we cover the 4 classes, we need to cover some basic, universal, multi-central, economically relatable abilities possessed by all 5 classes. Every class will have a block, roll, dash, super jump, super dash, burst, push block, wait, and hustle. We don't talk about the DI, because if I had to spend 20 hours of the game not knowing what it does, so do you. If the situation doesn't look good, you get 2 whiff cancels, which let you and your opponent select a different move. I think at least. This small segment of terms and mechanics is where my general understanding requires me to look up Reddit threads, Steam general discussions, and Bing search images. Flip allows you to flip an attack for a getaway or catching an opponent. Instant cancels let you reset your movements since certain attacks may take other attacks off the table. Free cancels allow you to do something. I'm sure it's very important. There's also frame advantages, which will most likely determine which attacks strike first. Each attack has a frame startup, with certain attacks having quicker frame startups. If you got the plus, thumbs up. If you got the negative, pray. Also, predicting an opponent's versus objectively makes you feel higher than cocaine. Combat. You pick a character, and your goal, total deletion of your opponent's life, wife, kids, house, and pension. Every character has around 7 to 8 special attacks, 7 to 8 normal attacks, and 1 to 2 supers excluding the burst. This is because certain attacks will require certain conditions to appear. Wizard Combustion, for example. Ninja's Whip Wave can only appear after a back sway. Certain attacks will also counter other attacks. For example, Wizard's Icicle can counter Robot Kick User, but Robot's Concussive Blast can counter Wizard's Icicle. This is where the real mind crunch of Yomi Hustle begins. In regular fighting, there is a feasible limit the human mind can do to assess the situation, and from my perspective, purely instinctual. Oh yeah, watch out for that. In Yomi Hustle, at base, you get 30 seconds to think of a counter, or as I see it, 30 seconds to doubt yourself in every choice you're making, and whether fortunate or not, you can communicate with your opponent. There are beginner-friendly lobbies that are active and usually contain helpful advice, and from there, you can go and join other people's lobbies for more grappling. Classes. Classes are the characters, fighters, stereotypes, except Cowboy, each having their own unique kit with attacks, specials, and supers. Each class will have a unique activation tools because I don't know what to call them all. Allow for special effects or perks, and depending on when this video comes out, the roster may or may not be 5. Ninja. When Naruto wasn't enough, we sought more. We sought greater. We sought Palm Strike. Ninja is the classical ninja, with all the classical. Don't you remember in historical depictions of ninjas summoning no jutsu clones, teleportation, and pockets? Japanese history was wild. As a ninja, your job is to extend your combo as so impossibly long that calling it chip damage is no longer appropriate. We got nano damage. Backsway lets you base attacks and retaliate. Substitution makes you unpredictable, and store momentum lets you defy physics and reapply them later at your earliest convenience. Wizard hates you, and robot makes you cry. Cowboy. The Tanigashima is a Japanese matchlock gun imported from the Portuguese Empire and used by the samurai. These ancient antiques are completely garbage. So much so that an unnamed samurai ditched that shit and got himself a gun with a bit more American persuasion and a lot less radiation. The intense exposure to radiation, self-deletion, and scarring the world forever has granted Cowboy the power to teleport and pressure people. You also have your gun. Use it to finish people off, force an opponent to jump or block or slide, and to extend a combo. Be careful as you've only got 6 shots and no, you can't reload. Robot. Use armor. Wizard. Long ago, someone said magic, to which someone replied, bolt. Magic bolt is your friend, life, literal existence, an abusive partner who will beat and tear your skin, and punish you for daring to even attempt playing without it. Some will attempt it. In other words, they found a new abusive mistress to call their own, and her name is Mana Strike. Huge fan of how you can use it to knock players inward. Never annoying. If you're not casting magic bolts every turn, are you really playing Wizard? Yes. Pressure opponents by conjuring as much shit you can think of. Magic bolts, spark orbs, a rock. The more shit you throw on screen, the less likely your opponent will win. We could talk about the secret one, but that'll depend if it releases before this video. But what if that isn't enough? What if 4 characters aren't enough to satisfy your questionable desires? What if you need more? Flashier, cooler, scarier. That's what mods are for. There's a lot of mods. Naturally, however, when we start getting into community-made characters, historically from my experience, balance is not often considered and often ignored. But this doesn't matter, because comparing a nuclear bomb to the fucking sun is like comparing German to Russia. At this point, it's personal preference for your winning KDR. Furthermore, I find myself having to wait because if I pressure my computer too much, the game crashes. This is probably because of the 5 pages of modded characters on a 1060, but I find that highly dubious. Here, there are only 2 types of mods: genuinely really good characters, shitposts, and secret options, really good shitposts. And who could forget the super secret 4th option you'll never play because no one will download it? Jesus Christ. Now all we need is Satan, and we can make this a historical moment. Since I've covered everything I believe I'm somewhat intelligent enough to explain, I would like to dedicate the rest of this video to some of my favorite modded characters. These are ranked in no order and purely based on the enjoyment I get. Royalty. From Sans Undertale Asgore. I like this character because you don't avoid other characters. Other characters avoid you, so much so that the character doesn't even have a dash back option. My favorite is abusing the frame startup on Crash. It's like Wizard's Ghost Hand, but actually dangerous. Suffice to say, this character dominates the ground turf, with 3 total detonation attacks, multiple poking attacks, and the slip and slide. Kung Fu Man. Look, it's either you play an OP katana wielding HP sacrificing character,
or the most underpowered unit you can find. He's got less range than an amputated fetus.
But goddamn, this is why certain individuals, despite complaining about overpowered modded characters, choose to still keep said overpowered characters downloaded. The euphoria in taking an okay character against some absolute bullshit and coming out victorious?
I wouldn't know that feeling, but I got pretty close.
Because that's why, despite having the choice to optionally disable distasteful characters, they continue to let it on their PC, because they want the ego boost of telling the Discord they beat someone using Fallen while only using the correct base characters, then get mad when said character is hard to beat and overpowered. Goran. Shuriken good, do punch.
Suffice to say, in the modded scene, balance wasn't really in mind. I can go into a match with Nephilim, and my opponent, for all I know, could pick Putus, because if my enemy is gonna shoot themselves in the foot, why stop them? For all we know, this is either complete random who doesn't know jack shit, or God. As assured, the sweatshop never stops production. Subscribble so I can get paid and enjoy your next video.